on the weekend was the Adelaide Crows sitting in the premiership window, Bucks, and it was a dominant display against last year's grand finalists at the SCG.
Yeah, they've got a massive power. Like we've already seen, like second for offence, second for defence, but like this. Let's be honest. This looked like a mismatch game. You know, the Crows have been known as an open field team that sort of takes advantage of open spaces. Adelaide Oval, the MCG. They've developed a real strong underbelly. You know, they're strong around contested ball. They're strong in clearance, and the SCG tested that against a side that we thought was going to test it. Well, they blew them out of the water.
This is huge, though, isn't it? The contested possession and ground ball gets. If you think about the Sydney Bloods, and we'll get on to them soon, this is an annihilation in what you would think is Sydney's brand of football.
Well, have a think about the strong players that are around. So Ben Keys is playing in forward line, getting up and back, winning the ball in the air, winning it on the ground, outside of clearance. Neil Bullen doesn't go into clearance, but is running through the middle of the field and getting that done. Peatling's a strong body, whether he's on the wing or in the midfield. Then, I mean, you keep going. You've got Dawson. You've got players that are right across the field that are strong bodies that can go and win their own ball, and they're prepared. They're working in really good shape at the moment. So that's the most encouraging thing for Matty Nick's. Going to be tested the next couple of weeks against better opposition.
Yeah, I look forward to that midfield clash because if Brisbane comes to play their midfield, they hunt opposition teams. So that'd be a good test for Adelaide's midfield.
Yeah, and this is the rise for the Crows. And obviously we saw them at the start of the show in the premiership window, but just there defensively and tightening that up. They've always been an offensive weapon. I think even for the last decade they've been an offensive weapon. But this is the best 6-week stint under Matthew Nicks defensively. And it's a sort of no-name defence, but guys like Michael Annie...
Keane played his best game of the weekend.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. 15 turnovers from Mark Keane on the weekend. And still Nick Murray, who they think might be their best key defender, not playing. It's starting to look like a side that can really challenge at their best. Are they as good as anyone in the competition, the Crows?
Well, I think, you know, watching them again today and then sort of watching Collingwood before, it seems like it's the same model. There's total buy-in. And I think the additions of a few players, which we'll go to in a minute, but it is... The modern game is contest to contest, get numbers around those stoppages. I think Neil Bullen has been fantastic in terms of that sense. But I'm starting to see some defensive similarities between Adelaide and Collingwood. We understand when Matty Nicks first went to Adelaide, it was probably all about offence, getting their offence and getting the team excited about to play again. They are starting to show really good signs.
No, remember the famous one that was in the doco? If you don't want to defend,
pack your
bags, and
it's a couple of years ago,
and get out.
So initially, when he went there, I think, you know, coming from Sydney, he was the offensive guru, and he brought a more exciting attacking brand of football.
Yeah. And then he laid in the defence.
Three names that have had a massive impact, including a former teammate of yours, Geordie.
Yeah, we go from one of the most talked about recruits in the off-season to three that went relatively under the radar, but you talk to anyone inside that football club how important they are. So we understand that these two stats here are really important for connectivity, and a lot of it is driven by the midfield and the half forwards, and these three boys play a huge part. So you can see they're chained to score 4. That's a big jump from 13 to 5th, and then chained to score again. So those boys know how to set up, they know when to go offensively, and certainly when to help defensively. So they've added 330 games to their list with these three boys coming in. It's also allowed them to flick the numbers through the midfield. So the power of work that their mids used to do in the past, like the two Crouch boys and Sloan and these types of players, they'll have a mix of sort of 8 to 10 players that roll through there. So when you go into this midfield now, you are full of energy, you are fast feet, you buy in defensively and offensively. So these two boys have created great depth, great leadership off field. I've worked with Neil Bullen at Melbourne, and he's a character of the highest quality. So they're having a real impact on this club. Not as big named as a few of the others, but certainly has bigger impact.
Good targeted recruiting from the Crows that finds them inside the premiership window.